Welcome back to the Manor. Julian McBain here, and today we are doing a 25 PED controlled cost hunt with the Barbarella to see just how efficient it is. And of course, we know that the baseline for this is with Bukins. I will be doing more with Bukins so that we can kind of compare. That'll be my next video. For this one, we're going to use the Barbarella and see how it compares. But before we get too deep in, if you're new to the channel, welcome to the Manor. Please take a moment and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, one subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. Also, consider going to patreon.com/JulianMcBain if you want to support my work. If you do, you'll get copies of the Modern Entropia and Personal Finance for Gamers as my thank you. And of course, you get exclusive content only available to patrons. In fact, I just recorded a video for my March video, which I had neglected to do in March. So of course my April video posted last weekend, and then this is releasing on Sunday. On Saturday I released my March makeup video where I am in Kuhoff 3 discussing opportunities and options for Entropia Universe and Mindark and you in the coming inflationary environment, in ways I think that Mindark could hedge against it, and so could you. Please note that none of my videos should ever be taken as financial advice, but as just me spouting off from my experience. Okay. So yeah. In my last video, I did the whole check out the Platinum Pack, and things went rather well. I was actually rather impressed by the results. But now it's time to discover just how efficient this rifle, the Barbarella, with its amps are. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series of videos back and forth between the Barbarella and the Bukins. And to keep things equal, I'm going to put the amps that I put on the Barbarella on Bukins as well, because I think that matters. That really matters to see just how efficient or inefficient a particular weapon is. And so that will be my next few videos, and I'll chat about things. And that was a massive sneeze, excuse me. Because I think it's important for us to know, if you're going to dump the money into a Platinum Pack, sneezing aside, then you want to know if it's going to end up benefiting you in the end, or if it's just another piece of shiny that you can buy off of Mindark. And I think that overall, Mindark is smart enough to make it so that if you're going to hand them that kind of cash up front, they're going to make the weapon have a long-term benefit to you. So we're going to see that for sure or for not. But in the meantime, let's see how it goes. Now, I do think overall the Barbarella is probably a better rifle. They would not have put it in the web shop otherwise. I think that the amps they put on it, if I had a criticism for the amps that they put on the Barbarella, they're not big enough. They should have made them 1 PED. Even if they had to take away from the ammo they give in the web shop, by making 1 PED amps, they would match up to the decay rate of the Barbarella, so they all die at the same time. I think that would have been a far smarter method to do it, because it would have made life easier on the player. And nothing is smarter than making it so all the equipment has a similar decay, so you're not constantly running back and forth. You know what I'm saying? But I've noticed that even against these higher level mobs, the Barbarella actually chews through them reasonably well, even without the amps. And it's the 2 points. Does that mean it's more efficient in ammo? Not necessarily. But it does mean that I don't have to worry about dying as much. Does that mean I can't die? No, of course I can die. RNG is a thing that exists, but it makes it far less likely. And although 2 points per shot doesn't sound like a lot, it adds up really quickly. That's kind of the way the Pareto diagram works. I'm not going to get too deep into it, but it's the same idea of, 10% extra effort yields 40% better results. 2 points of extra damage per shot could yield a huge difference in results. And so just keep that in mind when you're comparing weapons. This one does 7, that one does 9. Well, it's only 2 points, but that 2 points could mean the difference between killing the mob without healing or having to heal in the middle of the mob. Because after 10 shots, there's a 20 HP difference. After 20 shots, there's a 40 HP difference. So you can totally see where You know, 10 shots at 9 is the equivalent to 11 shots at 7, so to speak. It's not, that's not an exact, but you know what I mean. You get to where I'm coming from. Actually, it's, let's see, 9, 18, 27. 3 shots is the equivalent of 4 shots at 7. 3 shots at 9 is approximately 4 shots at 7. You know, you get 1 extra point of damage for the 4 shots at 7, but you lose a whole extra shot. So, those considerations are important for you when you're doing weapons comparisons. Because if you're killing a mob 25% faster, it's going to do 25% less damage to you. And that can make a huge difference over time. And you know how I feel about time. You know, time is money. Time is also effort. And the less time it takes you to get the same result, the better total results you're going to get, because you can utilize that recovered time doing other things. And overall, I think this is going to prove to be a much better result than even I suspect it's going to be. But we're going to find out. And the other thing is in order to equalize, I've got to throw these, because we know what it's like unmodified, but if we throw all of the attachments onto Bukins, and then at some point what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull the Headshot 2 and swap it for the one you get from the store, the Eagle Eye, and see what difference that makes, because that could make a difference. Just to see what the total outcome is for these items. I do think the Barbarella will end up being the superior weapon, even though it has a much smaller PED value. That's part of it, because it's so damned efficient. You know, it can do with 1 PED what it takes Bukin's spare rifle to do 10, but I've got to repair the Barbarella a lot more often than Bukins. You know, I can go 2-3 hours without having to repair Bukins, whereas I have to repair the Barbarella once or twice, you know, probably twice every 3 hours, or 3 times every 2 hours. So I lose that hunting time, but if I'm making it up in efficiency, that's not necessarily a bad thing. Oh, I did want to tell a story. This happened on Friday night. I'm watching Bonnie's Twitch stream. And, of course, Bonnie is the captain of the TOS Normandy. She's a member of the Titans of Space. I think she's their number 2. Because John Black Knight is the head of it. He's the admiral or the general or the JBK. But I think Bonnie's the number 2. And she was playing on her stream. And so as a joke, I don't remember the context. We were conversing about something. About how the Normandy, you know, they're in the Normandy and their job is to transport people across space and shit like that. So I actually wrote an ad for the Normandy. And JBK came back and because I threw the ad in there as a joke, JBK joked that I was hired. Of course, I'm not affiliated with Titans of Space. I'm not part of their Starfleet. I'm not part of their, I'm not a part of their society. But it went something like this. You're flying through space in your quad wing, and you're trying to make it back to Calypso from the planet you were on. You've got loot. You're trying to avoid pirates when suddenly your HUD flashes. You're taking on fire, and your ship blows up. You're dust. And now you're stuck on a space station in the middle of space, and you forgot your RK-0. What are you going to do now? If you had invested in yourself and bought a ticket on the TOS Normandy, you would have been able to do this safely and securely without worrying about being blown up. The TOS Normandy flies across space, taking people from planet to planet for a very nominal price, and will provide you with the security you need to get your loot wherever it needs to go. If ever you wondered whether or not you need to be able to get from whatever planet you're on in the Entropia universe back to Calypso to sell your wares, The TOS Normandy will get you there securely and on time. Contact the TOS Normandy today in order to book passage on their next flight. That was what I was trying to write, or something close to it. I ran out of characters. I was so disappointed. Because Twitch only gives you, like, I think it's 240 characters. It's basically a tweet, right? You can write something roughly the length of a tweet. And so I wrote that, and they thought it was good. They laughed. Bonnie read it, and she was like, "Oh wait, this is an advert." Oh. But, you know, that's why I love this game. You know, it's art mimicking life, but it's life the way we wish it could be. You know? You spend your days hunting mobs, collecting loots. You can make money, you might lose money, you don't have to worry about food, although I do wish there was a way to eat in the game. Because, you know, I'm a foodie at heart, so of course I want there to be a way to cook in the game. I mean, hell, one of my favorite things to do when I played World of Warcraft is my friends and I, we'd all hang out in a bar and just drink in the game. We'd be drinking in real life too, but we'd actually be drinking in the game. And we just hung out. You know, that's one of the fun things. And I know that, like, it's been said before, I know Delusionist mentioned it years ago, it'd be cool to just, you know, y'all hanging out at your home, your apartment, having a barbecue. You know what I'm saying? And it would be another thing you can do. It would be free because all you have to do is hang out. It gives a lot of, and yeah, it uses bandwidth and server for, electricity for Mindark, but it draws more people in. Because the people hanging out and having a barbecue today had to hunt up the ingredients for the barbecue, had to find the fruits or grow them, had to find the meat that dropped off the mobs that doesn't actually drop unless you're on Cyrene. But believe me, if I could have roasted some of that bone-in meat, some barbecue sauce, and had like a non-tangible benefit, like, I don't know, increased run speed or regeneration, even if it's temporary, that would have been well worth it. It wouldn't have cost Mindark a damn thing. Someday. Kind of like I hope they eventually introduce fishing. Which I don't see happening, but I do hope it happens. Speaking of which, the Virtueverse backers EA is popping up here pretty quick. I've got to decide what I'm going to do for that. I might spend a good chunk of that just fishing. You know, just relax, take a break from the rat race, and just cast a line in for a week. Know what I'm saying? Because sometimes that's what you need. I have spent more than one Saturday in WoW just fishing. Now, true, it was to grind up my fishing skill for the most part, or to get mats for food, but it's not a bad way to spend an afternoon. You know, it's kind of like fishing in real life, except you don't need to worry about the boat or the worm or whatever. It's a lot of fun. Relaxing. Okay. We're actually doing pretty good. What's our decay looking like? 1.5 PED, maybe. We could come out of this with a profit. 5 PED there. We're down to what, 9? 7. Call that 10, 10.25. Okay, so maybe not a profit, but I'm willing to bet it turns out to be better overall than what we've been getting. Which I know is kind of a cop-out, but, yeah, whatever. Don't judge me, I just came out of doing another Kuha, 45 minutes of grind. As you can see. Whoops. I have one more Kuhoff attempt to do, which I'm probably going to do after this video is over. Just to get it out of the way. I'm trying to clean things up. I'm actually thinking about heading over to Cyrene. They've got a couple epic missions to do, but I was really hoping to be here until a page dropped or until they were all claimed. Which, obviously, if a page doesn't drop for me, they're going to end up, it would end up waiting a long time for them all to be claimed. No, I don't mean that it's going to take a long time because I'm not getting it. What I'm saying is, like, I could end my mission, my personal mission, once I got a page. But if I don't succeed, by the time all the pages run out, I've got to be here until all the pages run out. And that's going to take a long time. I suspect that they've designed it so that it takes 2 or 3 years for all the pages to drop. That would be the wise thing to do, because that's how Virtual Sense could maximize their return on investment. You know, feed a page into the algorithm, which I'm sure that they're all in there anyway. But, you know, make it so that one drops on an average of every month or two. Feed it in. It keeps people wanting to come back. It keeps the population of Toulon up. When it drops down, that maybe make it so that it has like a sliding scale of probability. So that the fewer people on Toulon, the more likely it is to drop. And that might be how the algorithm works anyway. And then once it drops, more people will flood back to Toulon to try to get them again. Virtual Sense could get buku dollars doing that. And then in a future VU, add on, you know, a couple of square kilometers in every direction, or at least 2 directions, and make some owned land areas. Know what I mean? That'd be the way to do it. I mean, hell, I wouldn't mind buying the volcano or the snow caps. Because I'm someone who likes extreme environments. Like, I've camped in the Badlands, which is basically a desert in the summer and a glacier in the winter. Okay, I've lived there. I lived in a town called Glendive in Montana. And it takes 3 hours to get to the next town in any direction, roughly. It's like 2 in some, but it's like 2 to 3 hours in any direction to make it to an actual town. Okay? So, Glendive, Montana. All around Glendive is nothing but the most austere, rough wilderness. And there's wildlife there. You've got rabbits, you've got coyotes. I mean, you could get food if you knew how to hunt it. And there's mule deer, and they're dumber than a box of rocks, so you don't have to worry about starving to death. But exposure will kill you, because it's a place, and I've mentioned the place before, but this is where, and I want you to go look it up. Go look up Glendive, Montana. Look where it is. Makoshka State Park. I have camped in the state park. You do not go into the park alone, or if you do, you take supplies. Because people have gotten lost, and they've just found what's left of them. Okay? Usually the bones after the coyotes pick their carcass dry. It's wide open space. There's very little cover. Beautiful territory. You can see, like, when you're on top of a butte, there's a Lions camp. The Lions own a camp in the middle of it. It's private property before it was a national park. Awesome camp, by the way. And they rent it out for cheap. Like, the whole camp can be rented for less than $500 a weekend the last time I was there. For the weekend. Like for the weekend. That's not bad for a fucking campground. Because you're talking a big-ass A-frame that'll sleep 28 people, half a dozen cabins, and a lodge house. And all of the space in between it. Like, this is not a small place. And we held SCA events there. And it's on top of a butte. So you're standing on top of this butte, and you're looking over, and you can see the highway. You can see cars on the highway that are so far away you can't hear them. Because they're 10 miles away. And everyone living in the Midwest is like, yup, I know what that's like. And everyone on the coasts are like, you can do that? Yes, you can do that. Okay. How are we? We're down to 6 PED. It's getting to the point where it's almost time to pack it in, just for concern that we run out of ammo, because I don't want to run out of ammo. Whoops. We're down to 3 PED, excuse me. I was looking at my freaking shrapnel. Blech. So we'll take out this guy, and then we'll book it back to Guardian Village. And we'll see how he did. Gotta set up the spreadsheet. Come on. Boom. Okay. Pop you on Sleep Near. So yeah, there is our 25 PED hunt. We got about 2 PED left in ammo. We used less than 20 PEC of the gun. A little over half of the scope, just under half of the, no, I'm sorry, over half the amp, less than half the scope, and just over half of the laser sight. The repair bill on this is going to be negligible, especially when compared to what we had to deal with Bukins, I think. Why is it always nighttime when I'm recording? Like, seriously, what the hell? Okay. So, first things first, what did we get for raw rev? We're going to go, whoops. 15.52 plus 2.08 is 17.6 out of 25. Okay, we're down 7 PED 40. And then what's the repair bill? $1.30. So $26.30 is the total actual cost. So we're 8 PED 70 cents down, which isn't great, but let's be facing it, it could have been far worse. So we'll do another 2 hunts with the Barbarella, then we'll look to see what Bukins looks like. Hopefully we'll find that it's more efficient. More importantly, we get the skills. And with the skills, I'm willing to bet it levels up, but I have no way of measuring that, so we'll have to operate with what we've got. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Please like, share, and subscribe down below. We are on the road to 13 million subscribers, 1 subscription at a time, so make sure you subscribe. And as always, I really appreciate the support. See you in the next one.